AVC, how's it going? Right, okay, I've been travelling around a bit over the last few weeks, so I thought I'd show you what I've been picking up on my travels. But first of all, I thought I'd show this. This is a CD. I appreciate it's a vinyl community, but this is quite a big deal. This is the remastered deluxe edition of Purple Rain. This is something that the fans have been after for years now. It came out yesterday, Friday the 23rd. Basically, as I say, it's 3 CDs and a DVD. So the first disc is the remastered album. Now the album was actually remastered by Prince himself. Basically what happened when he re-signed with Warner's, I think 2014, he part of the deal was that he would put out a remastered version of Purple Rain. Obviously that's quite a big draw for Warner Brothers. So he did actually remaster the record prior to his death. Now what actually happened was that in late 2014, rather than turning in the this is why I understand it anyway, rather than turning in the remastered version of Purple Rain, he actually put 2 new albums to Warner Brothers, those being Artificial Age and Plectrum Electrum with Third Eye Girl. Warner Brothers were none too happy because he basically hoodwinked them again. You know, they were after a little bit of sort of classic Prince to put out alongside a new record, and he basically forced their hand into putting out both new records. He did actually turn in the remastered version of Purple Rain eventually, but again Warner's weren't happy because it was just the original 9-track album that had been remastered. Obviously there's so much more stuff in the vault, part of which features on here, but there's obviously the other stuff that Prince was involved in which feature in the film, so stuff like Sex Shooter by Apollonia 6, the 2 tracks from The Time, Jungle Love, The Bird. There are alternate versions of these songs, would be 12-inch versions, whatever, which, you know, perhaps should have been put out on this box set. And I think that's basically what Warner's are after. But yeah, so basically the first album is the first disc is just the album. Second disc contains 11 previously unreleased tracks. Several of them I've heard before or owned before on various bootlegs, would be bootleg cassettes or CDs. But yeah, I mean, there's several songs in here. There's certainly 5 or 6 songs here that I've never heard before. You know, absolutely fantastic. Obviously, the quality is great. Even the stuff that's come out on bootlegs before, it's great to have just lovely, clean copies. And as the case with all Prince stuff, you know, some of the versions that I've heard before aren't necessarily the versions that are on this CD. So, yeah, so for Prince fan, 11 new tracks from his sort of golden period, well, his purple period, if you want to excuse the pun, you know. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. The third disc is stuff like single B-sides, single S edits, that sort of stuff from the songs that were released from the film. You know, I Would Die For You, Let's Go Crazy, etc. You know, and the final disc is a DVD of a gig from 1985 in Syracuse. Now this came out originally on a DVD in the mid-80s. I've still got my DVD, on a video in the mid-80s. I've still got my video copy somewhere, but it's never come out on DVD, so it's the first time it's been cleaned up, put out on DVD. So all told, 20 quid, a cracking package. There's 2 vinyl versions of that as well, which I've got to pick up at some point. There's a picture disc of the album and the remastered Purple Rain album on vinyl as well. So all in all, a great day for Prince fans, but yeah, definitely worth picking up. And I wouldn't normally show CDs, as I say, but I've got another show as well. The new Paul Weller album came out, I don't know, about a month or so ago. I bet you're sick of me showing Paul Weller albums now, but this is fantastic, great album. He's going through a great patch at the moment. Perhaps if you're not a Paul Weller fan, it's not going to change your mind, but if you are, or you've bought his records in the past but you've not been sure in recent years, definitely want to get into, definitely worth picking up. But I'd perhaps actually recommend the CD rather than vinyl. Vinyl's lovely, however the CD version comes with the album as well as an instrumental version of the album, which I think is a great touch. You know, that happens with, I don't know, reggae all the time, but it's very rare that you'd get an instrumental version of a rock or a pop album, whatever. And there's a third disc of mixes of the tunes on the album as well. So yeah, great stuff, and I think, you know, nice package as well. But I say the quality of the music, songwriting, Fantastic. Right, okay, as I said, I've been out and about a little bit over the last few weeks. This is something that I picked up from a record shop down in Newquay in Cornwall. Yeah, this is Ken Parker. The album's called Jimmy Brown. It's on Trojan 1974. Yeah, UK Trojan 1974. Really nice condition. Base is a record shop down in Newquay, which I've been to before. I must admit, when I last went, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, I thought it was quite poor. The quality of the stock wasn't great, just standard stuff, nothing particularly interesting there, but also the condition of the records wasn't great. As soon as I walked into the shop, I could see that it was totally different, because as I was edging my way through the door, there was just a small box of records, box of 45s, which was just classic reggae, which obviously drew my eye straight away. And then I looked around the shop, and it was full of soul, funk, jazz, whatever. And the guy basically changed hands. The new owner was explaining what he'd been doing over the last few years with the shop, and yeah, it was a cracking place. So worth checking out if you're new. I can't remember the name of it. It's on the high street there. But yeah, this is a nice album. I say in great shape. It's just classic pop reggae, what you'd expect on Trojan from that period. Right, okay. I was also fortunate enough to go to Rome a couple of weeks ago. My wife and I actually went over there just for 2 nights. We're actually there for a wedding, but obviously took the opportunity to see some of the sites one of the days, and I did get about half hour, 40 minutes to look at a couple of record shops. So it was a bit of a whistle stop tour. But the first shop that I went to, not far from the Colosseum, called Soul Food. Yeah, nice. I looked this up in advance. It's a cracking shop, very small shop, lots of quality stuff. But to be fair, the prices were top dollar. So I didn't buy too much. I bought 2 albums there, and mainly because, well, the first thing was I didn't really know my prices. I needed to spend a bit of time, just understanding what the going rate was for some of the records that I was looking at, just purely because it was real top end stuff. And also there wasn't a deck in the shop, so some of the things that I pulled out looked quite interesting. I didn't really have the opportunity to listen to them, prior to spending any money. So what I picked up was a copy of Profondo Rosso by Goblin. This is a sort of a budget reissue. The album came out in '75, obviously Italian soundtrack. This is a reissue from 1980. Obviously the way that obviously the budget label does the artwork isn't ideal, but the sound of the record, sound of the pressing is fantastic. This label, is it SEAC? There's hundreds of soundtracks put out on this label in Italy, certainly from that sort of period, late 70s, early 80s. But I say this sounds great, and this is one of my favourite Goblin albums. I did previously have a copy of the album, but it's a more recent recording of it. I went to see Claudio Simonetti's current incarnation of Goblin a few years ago, and I picked this up at the gig, but it is a re-recording of that album, so I was pleased to get sort of an original recording. And I picked up one other album, which is a soundtrack album, Morricone soundtrack. Yeah, a lovely soundtrack album. It's obviously all in Italian, so the translation I think is Sicilian Checkmate, the film, late 70s, 78, 79. Yeah, not something you're going to listen to every day, but it is a beautiful score, so please pick that up. Okay, I then went over to another shop called Hocus Pocus, which was a good shop. Obviously what I was looking for was Italian music, basically. In there it wasn't as good for Italian soundtracks or Italian prog, but they did have a good selection of other stuff, whether it be soul, reggae, whatever. So I picked up, it's an album that I've been after for years. This is obviously Malik by the Lafayette Afro Rock Band. This is an original pressing. Original pressing goes for several £100s, I think, at times. This is a reissue on the Makosa label from 1993. Still relatively expensive album, but I was pleased with what I paid for this. But yeah, great album. Many of you will know this. Very funky, instrumental. Been sampled many times, but yeah, a great album. And the other album that I picked up there was a reggae album. David Ansel Collins, Double Barrel. This is an album that I see a lot over here. But the reason I picked it up, this is obviously the UK copy is on Trojan, This is the first American pressing on the Big Tree label. That makes any sense. Yeah, Big Tree. The reason why I picked it up was because it cost me €20, but it was a original 1971 album, and it's still sealed in shrink. So I was intrigued, basically. As I said before, commenting about reggae, whenever I find reggae records, they're often beat because they've been played at parties or whatever. So yeah, I was really pleased to find that. Okay, in my last video I showed an album by Thomas Mapfumo. This is his first album on Rough Trade from '84. Picked this up off eBay as a fiver. Similar stuff. I say he's a Zimbabwean musician. As I said before, it's typical Zimbabwe, South African sound. But yeah, just a beautiful record. So really pleased to get hold of that. And as I said before, I will be looking to pick up other records by him because yeah, it's got me hooked. So cool. Okay, very quickly. A mate of mine has a record shop. He had had a Prince collection in recently. I got most of the Prince stuff that he had, but I only had these two albums by the time on CD. So these are the first two albums. So you got the first album, The Time, and What Time Is It, the second record. Obviously, both of which are co-produced and feature Prince in both, obviously on vocals and songwriting as well. So yeah, really nice records. So I've had them on CD for a long time, but nice to get vinyl copies. And there's a chap that comes to where I work, well, just across the road from where I work, every couple of months selling records. I picked up a few things from him. Sign of the Times 12-inch. I've never bothered picking this up before because I didn't appreciate that the B-side La 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 He 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 on this is a 10-minute 12-inch version of that song. So I say £3. I say the title track is the A-side is just the album version, but a nice extended version of the B-side, which is pretty cool. And just a few singles. There's a track from I think 66, 67 by Syndicate of Sound called Little Girl, which some of you may know. Well, that was covered in 77 by a British band called The Band. It's B-A-N-N-E-D rather than the Robbie Robson band. Obviously on Harvest, a great sort of punk tune from that period. Yeah, a really nice version, so I was pleased to pick that up. It's very cool. And I also bizarrely picked up 2 copies of a Joe Strummer single, Island Hopping. I love this tune. This is from '89 on the Epic label. I've never seen this on 45 before, so the chap had those going for a couple of quid each, so I think one will be eBayed and so keep the other one for the collection. But yeah, very cool. Anyway, cheers.